Can you get it?
Everybody, we will be live here in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Hey everybody, if you're just joining us, we'll be starting here in about 1 minute. Lance, I forgot the new Chromebook sitting in my office. Will you grab it for me?
You need another person.
Hello everybody, if you're just joining us, we'll be just a few more seconds here. We'll give another minute, or another few seconds for folks to arrive, and then we'll get started. Thanks for joining us. All right, good evening everybody, and thanks for joining us for our fourth virtual town hall. It's nice to be with you all today, and we're excited to put out some information today and to listen to your feedback as we start thinking about what next year will look like. So to start our conversation today, we just wanted to make everybody aware of a legislative initiative that is important to Belpre City Schools that's working its way through the Ohio legislature. It is the Ohio Fair School Funding Plan, which is otherwise known as the Cupp-Patterson Plan. If you follow Belpre City Schools, you know that for a myriad of reasons, the current funding model grossly undercuts the amount of funding that Belpre City Schools should receive. And so this budget bill is extremely important to Belpre City Schools, and we're closely monitoring it. We've testified in support of the bill in the House. It did pass in the House this past December. The Senate failed to take it up, and our understanding is that it will be part of this year's legislative process. So we appreciate Representative Jay Edwards, who supported the bill in December, and look forward to having conversations with Senator Hoagland and the other senators as they consider this important bill. So stay tuned for more information on that. We'll continue to provide updates, but this would be a significant improvement for Belpre City Schools, and finally change the way that Ohio schools are funded and make it a constitutional funding system for the first time since the 1996 DeRolf decision. So, second, I want to make a brief announcement about virtual meals. So we'll continue to offer virtual meals for virtual students or any students that happen to be impacted by a COVID-19 related quarantine. But the meal pickup time is changing. So if you have been picking up meals, you're not going to come Monday afternoons anymore. Meal pickup time starting after spring break will be from Monday will be on Monday or Tuesday, anytime between 8 and 1, directly from the school office. So it's more flexible that way. You can come anytime between 8 and 1, and we'll be happy to give folks their weekly meal allotment. We're super excited to announce some class of 2021 events. So we will have a senior breakfast on April 9th at 7 a.m. in the BHS Gymnasium. There'll be a free breakfast for seniors, and they'll put out a lot of important information for graduation. Our prom is going to be May 1st of 2021. It will be held at the Parkersburg Arts Center. We appreciate the work that Mrs. Pence and her committee have done, as well as the junior and senior class, in making this event possible, and to Governor DeWine and the Department of Health for figuring out a way for schools to have this event safely. So ticket information will be provided soon, and we are thrilled to be able to have this important event for our schools this year. And finally, we're pleased to announce that graduation will be held Sunday at May 16th. For the first time in at least recent memory, it will be an outdoor graduation ceremony scheduled for 2:00 p.m. at Ralph Holder Stadium. We're also excited to announce that graduates will each receive 7 ticket vouchers per graduate to attend that event. And depending upon how things go between now and then, that number could increase if we receive a variance. So I want to transition now to a little bit about next school year, the 2021-2022 school year, and what we know so far. So for folks that have been following these town halls, Belpre finds itself in a significantly better position than the last time we spoke in November. When we closed schools a little bit before Christmas break, we were seeing a rolling average of almost 88 COVID cases in the 45714 zip code. I'm happy to report that that number has fallen all the way to 15 as of today. In addition, we've gotten about 70% of Belpre City Schools staff vaccinated, which we are thrilled about in our school district. So conditions have dramatically improved since the last time that we spoke, but now the thinking is, what will next fall look like? So as of right now, we have received no guidance from the state of Ohio that's changed any of the requirements for social distancing as well as facial coverings. And one of the assumptions that we have as of right now, that we don't expect that will change at least through the first semester. So again, we will monitor very closely what the Department of Health says, but unless there's some type of change with the ongoing clinical studies of a vaccine for children, I don't anticipate that those we will see much relaxing of some of the safety protocols and the facial covering requirements for next year. But we will keep you updated, and there's still a lot of time between now and August. In addition, I know we've gotten a lot of questions about what Virtual Academy will look like next year. Our virtual teachers have done a bang-up job this year working with students. When we sent a recent survey, we did get pretty low demand from parents looking to the fall semester from a Virtual Academy perspective. Only about 15 students per building indicated that they would like to be virtual next year as opposed to in person. So unless there's some change in the pandemic, or some change in public opinion, at this point we don't anticipate having a virtual academy like we had this year, where we had our own teachers staff that. However, for those families that would like to continue in a virtual environment, we will continue to pay for students to attend Blue Sky Academy, which our high school used this year, but that we would make available to our elementary students next year in the event that those students don't feel safe returning, or if there continues to be some type of individual medical condition that would make it so that students want to stay. So again, that's the best I can tell you as of today, but as you've been following this, you know it's changed dramatically at times, and we'll continue to keep you updated. But as of right now, this is what we know, and this is what we're thinking, and I'm sure folks won't be shy about sharing their opinion in the comments for us to review. I want to talk a little bit about tech upgrades that we have in the district. I'm excited to announce that in January, Matt Morris, whose birthday is today, so if you see Matt, wish him a happy birthday, did excellent work this year to install a broadband system. So if you look at this portion of Belpre, this shaded portion, we are now able to actually offer our own Wi-Fi network for students living in that part of Belpre. So if your family is in that part of Belpre, please reach out to us here at the central office, and we can work with you to set up a router in your home to make sure that your student has internet access free of charge from the district. So this was done thanks to the Ohio Broadband Connect grant that Governor DeWine made available to schools. And we're super excited about it and continue to look for grant opportunities that would allow us to expand that coverage across the city. But for now, this is our foothold, and again, happy to work with families in that part of the city to provide internet access. Another tech update that we're going to announce tonight is using ESSER dollars. We're going to be able to purchase enough Chromebooks for all students grades 4 through 12 to have their own personal device. So it's a Samsung Chromebook unit. It looks like this. All students in grades 4 through 12 will be issued one of these, and then students in third grade will have a classroom set of Chromebooks available to them. They won't come back and forth from home, but they will be available in the classroom. And then for our K2 learners, we'll be purchasing iPads for use in the classroom. So we are grateful to the federal government for supplying us with this these badly needed dollars. I know that if you have followed us, there have been some kinks from time to time this year having enough devices for families. And so we're very, very pleased to be able to offer this starting next year, and be looking at the beginning of next year for the paperwork and everything else to get that rolled out. I want to make sure that families are aware that we are accepting enrollment applications for preschool next year. We partner with the Ohio Valley ESC for their Bright Beginnings preschool. It's an excellent program that's housed here at our central office, the old Stone Elementary building. Encourage families, please reach out. There's a link on our website and on Facebook to apply to Early Beginnings. And there's been some discussion this year for those students that are going to be going into kindergarten, making it a 4-day program as opposed to, I think right now it's a 2-day program. So looking forward to that, and would ask families to give it to register today, and hope to have you with us next year. Okay, this is a reminder about kindergarten registration, which is open right now. Normally we have a screening process, but due to COVID-19, we don't have a large process, but we will be reaching out to families on an individual basis to schedule those screening appointments. So again, please check our website. We'll have kindergarten registration forms available there, and we look forward to welcoming, gosh, this will be the class of 2034.
That sounds right.
I think it's the class of 2034 that we'll receive applications from. So looking forward to that. There's been a lot of talk in the media about additional learning supports and opportunities for students given the impact of the pandemic. We are so grateful to our faculty and staff who have worked miracles this year to make sure that we have been able to, for the most part, stay open, 5-day-a-week service. But we know that even with that there have been some struggles with some of our students to continue to stay where they need to be, and that there are ongoing issues from when we initially closed in March of gosh, I guess that was 2019 or 2020. 2020. Yeah, 2020. So we have been doing a lot of thinking here about what we can offer families to support learners moving forward, and we are very pleased to announce that we are in the process of partnering with an Ohio University to apply for a grant that will deliver high-quality after-school programming at BHS, and to help support credit recovery and to offer other types of enrichment activities at the high school. We won't have a summer school at the high school this year, but we are looking forward to having after-school opportunities next year to help our students get more time to engage with curriculum. So we'll have more details soon. We're also pleased to announce that we are going to be using those ESSER dollars to explore some additional staffing positions in our school districts. We're adding some additional social-emotional support personnel at both campuses. We're looking into adding an additional math and science teacher at the high school. We know that for a lot of the families, and particularly those that have gone virtual, students have really struggled with math and science. And so we want to make sure that we can offer additional support for that, maybe lower some class sizes in our building to make sure that students have a little bit more support as they come back and transition to us next year. And we're also pleased to be able to contemplate adding a gifted and talented intervention specialist to serve our kids next year. We know that so-called learning loss, I don't like the term learning loss because I do feel very strongly that our kids have learned a great deal, both academically and otherwise, as we've all dealt with the pandemic. But we know that all students across the spectrum of learners are in need of additional supports, and so we're very pleased to be able to make that recommendation to the board, who will make their final approval here in the next few weeks. So if you know folks that might have licenses in those areas, please have them give us a call, and we will screen their resume. Belpre Elementary School is going to offer summer school this year, but really it's more of a summer enrichment activity. We are trying to have, it's going to be 3 weeks of summer learning for all kinds of students that might feel like they have some gaps or are struggling, to students that feel like they want to be enriched and pushed. So those registrations are available on our website. It will start at 9 o'clock. It'll go till 1 o'clock. We'll offer transportation services. We'll have a free breakfast and a free lunch. And we'll be providing activities for kids to have an additional 3 weeks of learning this year in June. So families, please, we encourage you. The registrations are due back by May 8th to the office. Please send your form back with your student, or you can send it directly to us. And look forward to having students in the building this summer continuing to learn and sharpen the saw. So for 4th and 8th grade students, families will be able to select different experiences. You'll see one of them is Food Fight, which is learning about cooking and science and math. One is Pop Bottle Rocketry, and one is Super Sleuth Crime Scene Investigation. So they've been trying to put together some fun activities for students in grades 4 through 8 that they can choose from. We'll also offer summer learning experiences for students in grades K-4 as well, where they can receive hands-on high-quality reading and math instruction. So these registrations will all be available on our website, and we look forward to receiving your paperwork and having you apply today. Our final piece of information before we start taking questions and answers. We are excited that next year is Belpre's sesquicentennial anniversary. It's 150th year of Belpre City Schools. And so to kick that off, we are announcing a student logo contest. All students are eligible to submit a logo design that would serve as our official logo for our 150th anniversary celebration next year. The theme for the year is I Believe in Belpre, and we invite our students to pull out their creativity and to submit their designs, and the winning logo will receive $150 as a prize. So those are due April 21st of 2021. All right, so that's all the information that I had to put out and share with everyone tonight. Thank you for listening, and now I'm happy to take questions and provide answers.
Yeah, we've got a couple of questions that are ready for you, and 2 of them are involving graduation, so we'll start with those first.
Yeah.
If a child or a senior doesn't use all 7 of their vouchers, are they allowed to share the extras or the leftovers with friends?
So I'm not sure what the answer on that is going to be yet. You know, part of it is the number of people, but it's also keeping people together in pods. So I won't want to comment because I haven't had a chance to review that with the graduation team, but I'll make sure that we follow up on that.
And then the next question would be for family members who are unable to attend or make it to graduation, will you be offering a live stream or a broadcast of the ceremony? Yeah,
I believe that is our intent, is to be able to offer that service for family members that can't travel, or for families that are larger than the 7 vouchers that we'll have. Yeah, that's a great question.
Okay, and another question for our high school students. Where can they find information about prom, or where can they get their prom information?
Yeah, so my understanding is prom information will be coming out soon. So I would expect shortly after spring break that you'll receive more information about more particulars and requirements for the event. Stay tuned.
And we've got a question about our return to school next year for children who may choose to return in person. Will students have to have the COVID vaccine to be able to be in person in the building next year?
No, we will not require children to have the COVID-19 vaccine to return in to the building. My understanding is that the vaccine has an emergency youth authorization, and that part of the criterion for getting that type of emergency use from the FDA means that we can't make requirements based on it. So no, I don't anticipate that being the case. Now, at some point in the future, the school districts are required to have certain vaccines for kids at various stages. It's possible that they'll make a policy decision someday, but I don't anticipate that being before next year, and it may be well after that until the FDA has a chance to give final approval to that type of vaccine.
another question about what we are looking at next year. Will any additional support be offered to students who are returning to in-person learning after spending a year in virtual learning?
Yeah, so like I said during the presentation, we are going to surge our staff in what we identify as key areas, especially in secondary math and science, to provide additional supports. For other families, we have been offering tutoring at middle and high school levels through ESSER funds, and I would expect that we would continue to provide that service as we return and we get back and acclimated in the building.
Okay, this is a question from an elementary school parent wondering if we have any idea what band is going to look like for our 5th and 6th graders at the elementary school next fall. Wondering if it's still only going to be 1 day a week.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I hope not. I think as I've reviewed the criteria and as we've seen what that's looked like, I do hope that we can return and have a much more robust band program for 5th and 6th grade. That's my hope.
One clarification for us, we would like to clarify that virtual lunch pickups, or I'm sorry, virtual meal pickups will be on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
I think we may have said Monday, but Tuesday or Wednesday from 8 to 1, and parents can go to the school security office.
All right, thanks for the correction. So it's Tuesday and Wednesday from 8 to 1, not Monday and Tuesday for families to pick up virtual meals. Also have another correction that with the internet service for families, that internet router will provide access for the Chromebook to access, the type of things that are pedagogically appropriate for the child. So we'll still have our own filters on those devices through the Wi-Fi in the home to make sure that it's appropriate content and serve those children's devices directly. It would not work with like a Roku box or anything like that. It would really be more for the student to be able to access what they need.
One question is about volunteers in our buildings. So will we be able to have volunteers back in the building to help teachers next year?
Yeah, that's a great question. We love our volunteers. I know that our teachers, particularly the elementary school, depend on volunteers. It will depend on what the guidance is. So I'm sure you wish you would like a better answer than that. All I can say is from my individual point of view, we value our volunteers. We certainly hope they're back next year, and once the guidance gets situated, if there's an opportunity for us to do that, we will take advantage of it.
I know our teachers have missed having their volunteers this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so virtual laptops, when will those need to be returned?
Yeah, so virtual laptop drop-off will be sometime in May. So it'll probably be those last 2 weeks of the school year. We'll get some information to everybody. It'll be back here at the district office, similar to where you picked them up in the gymnasium here. We'll get more information to that soon, but they'll be yours until the latter part of May, and we'll start kind of getting them back in.
And a question about summer scheduling and some of our extracurricular items. Marching band, will they be able to participate in parades and band camps and events like that they've missed out on?
So my understanding, I think, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong, band camp will be again here locally this year. I think colleges and universities typically host those, and I think everybody hasn't been ready to make commitments this year, and so I think Mr. Van Peltz and the committee made the decision to stay local again this year for band camp. Otherwise, if to the extent that cities are able to have parades, I don't think yet the guidance has lifted to allow that. But if we're permitted, I know the Pride of Marching, the Pride of Belpre will want to be there in full support of those activities.
Okay, a clarification for some of our elementary school families. If you choose virtual for an elementary student next year, does that mean that you'll be using Blue Sky?
Correct. So for next year, again, as of today, not knowing what the rest of the pandemic will look like, we have not seen enough demand to have us staff that in-house. So if a family would like to go virtual again next year, it will be through Blue Sky Virtual Academy. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we just talked about returning laptops and that timeline. one parent would like to know, when will books that virtual students have need to be returned?
I think we'll try to make it a one-stop. So when you come in to bring in your laptops, we'll also make that the day you pull in your textbooks, and we don't want to. Thank you for the question, because that'll make sure we get ahead of it. We want to make it as seamless and easy as possible for families. So we'll make sure that whatever is out to the families, you'll just have to make one stop here to get your materials in. So thank you for that, and we'll make sure we tighten that up so that it's easier on the families.
You have answered all of our questions at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything on the YouTube side?
Nope.
We're looking good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope we were able to provide some insight to each of you. We cannot say thank you enough to everybody for all of your support this year, your flexibility, your patience, your kindness. We've never been more closely partnered with our families than we have been this year. It's one of the good things of the pandemic, and we are just really grateful for everything that families are doing to support us and to support their learners as we get through this year. So if anybody else has any questions that weren't answered, please feel free to send me an email at my web address, and we look forward to having a great spring break next week and getting our students back in the building and having a great fourth quarter. So thanks everyone, and have a great night.